Hi, my name is Wanjiku DK of Kipepeo Green Heritage, a tree planting organization that is based in Nairobi. Our work entails working with women, children, and communities across the country, strictly tree planting. In the process, we've come to adopt other projects. We do food fundraisers, we do sanitary towels distribution, we do community empowerment projects, and above all, we try to connect our youth to positions of employment and stuff like that. Kipepeo was born in 2021, but the vision started in 2020 thanks to COVID. Those of us who hate staying indoors and being controlled in given spaces, we decided to start hiking, and the hiking turned into a movement of tree planting, and tree planting got to a point where we started to do accountability for the number of trees we had planted since around April of 2020. And a good number of those who would go out with us were not willing to do the accountability assignments. So we took a break from the whole project, and come 2021, that's when we decided to go official. That's when myself and a team of others who believed in the vision, who believed in we can turn the country green again, who believed in there's no reason for Kenya not to feed its own people, came together and Kipepeo Green Heritage was born. Why Kipepeo? Kipepeo means, if you understand the narrative about Kipepeo, Kipepeo is a butterfly. Question is, why did we choose to work with the name Kipepeo? It's about the journey of growth. From where we were born in 2021 and to where we are right now in 2023. But then we reflect this to the journey of kids in school that we work with. We work with kids from grade 4. We journey with them through all the way, and we also adopt kids, students from universities. This is because when they plant a tree today, we assign them the responsibility of nurturing that tree. Out of that, so far so good, we are counting our numbers at 102,467. And 30,000 of this are fruit seedlings. I know someone will ask why the number of fruit seedlings is very less. Fruit seedlings are expensive and it's hard to get the seeds. And with the times that we are living in, most of what we are eating is grafted varieties, from avocados to pixie oranges. So we are going into a journey where within no time we are going to lose our seeds. So getting seeds becomes a challenge for the seedlings that we want to set. But thanks to Carefree, thanks to Calro Kenya, we work together, we work with street boys, and they help us collect seeds that are thrown in the markets, and it's what we use to propagate our fruit seedlings. Fast forward to where we are. The question is, why did we start Kipepeo? That's a big question. We started Kipepeo out of answering the need of 2019, Kenya for Kenyans. Why do we have to every year fundraise for food for this country? I mean, if a country, a desert country like Israel, can do tree planting, can provide food for the whole world, they are the best in vegetable production, they are the best in milk production, they are the best in fruit supplies across the world. We are one country that is endowed with everything, and it is our belief that if we take it upon ourselves, we can do better. We can turn the tide and tell a different story for Kenya. We had the best trainer in this. That's the late Professor Wangari Maathai. She went across Kenya, she traversed Africa, telling people to plant trees. And when she rested, unfortunately, it's kinda we took a bow with her. But then, it's never too late until it's too late. We are still alive, we are still fighting, we are still living, we are still loving. So we can make another commitment to turn our country green again. Desertification is not an option. Look at how climate change is hitting us. Look at the droughts, the drought that hit Marsabit, and at the same time the floods have hit Marsabit again. Look at the crops that are destroyed in the farms. Look at the goats and cows that are being carried away. So at this point, we need to ask ourselves, can we do water harvesting? Yes, we can. But why are we not doing it? Can we all come out? In Rwanda, they have this day once a month where everybody goes to clean the environment, starting from the president. They have a day that is designated where you don't drive your cars to work. You take a walk or you do energy saving, so you ride your bike. Why can't we do this in Kenya? Ethiopia and India in 2021-2022 took upon themselves the initiative to plant 1 million trees in one day. Yes, they were able to pull that. So what is stopping us Kenyans from doing this? And that's where our assignment as young people comes in. That's where our assignment as mothers, as children, as fathers, as the youth gets the calling for action. You can do a small thing. In your tiny plots, in your shamba, you can plant a fruit tree, you can plant a tree. A tree serves so many purposes. Start with a tree, a life-saving tree like the bamboo. The bamboo has over 100 uses, but the best part of it is it pulls water from the ground. So why have we not planted it on our rivers that are drying up? Why are we not calling, why are we not sharing this information to the communities outside there? We've been to locations like Machakos. Machakos is known for the best citrus fruits. Machakos right now is being said to be a very dry place. So which is which? Can we plant the best oranges there? Can we plant the best pawpaws there? I mean, Marigat, where the Pakera irrigation scheme is a very dry location. But somebody believed in the vision of turning that place green and using the location to feed our nation, to feed the world. So we can do this. Look at what is happening in Makueni. They farmed a lot of mangoes, a lot of avocados. Are there people reaping the benefits? Yes. So can we replicate this? Can we duplicate this in Machakos? Yes. So that is why if we get an invite from a school in Machakos, that's the first assignment. A kitchen garden, a fruit garden, and the general trees that we plant. That's indigenous varieties. Places like Olkaria, it's just geothermal location. We go in, we plant the trees. The best story is when you come back a year later and the trees have blossomed. The trees are growing. It means somebody committed to nurturing. The assignment was very simple. Take care of this. When we come back and find what you have done, we are going to add you some more. They took care of the first 500. They took care of the next group package that we gave them. That was 1,000 seedlings. And we gave them again 1,400 seedlings because they are showing they're enjoying the fruits of their labor. The kids who planted, the moment we go and have conversations with them, which gives us the space to do nurturing, the space to do mentorship, and the place to empower. They want to show you, we planted this tree and this is where we are at right now. In return, we support these kids. We inspire them. We try to get them sponsors. We connect them with KWS and they are getting coordinated for trips across the country, just so that that kid is happy with the work they have done. So, you church elder, you mama mboga, you mother outside there, even a father, because I mean, we have fathers who own chunks and chunks of land doing a lot of nothing. Or you have done a plot, but the whole of it is concrete. Where do you think food for tomorrow will come from if everything we are turning into concrete? We need to think about our children. We need to think about the next generation. We need to think about feeding ourselves as a person, as a people, as a country. Then we can feed the world. Young people, when I started Kipepeo, that was the most scary thing I think I've done in my own life. Born and brought up in Nakuru, grew up in boarding schools, actually Catholic boarding schools. Our lives were well structured. Then from there into life, into university, into meeting friends, it's just structured. You know, you have a purpose, you know what you want to become. No, I did not choose to become an environmentalist. This is a calling that came along the way. In fact, for me, it's a 100-degree turn. My line, by the time I started Kipepeo, I was doing my degree in international relations. And I started Kipepeo, and right now my line is in environmental conservation. We didn't have money, that's the truth. In fact, 90% of our projects were supported from our pockets. It was how much do you have, can you pay transport, can we use a friend's car? It was, can your mother support us, can we call? For us, it was about nurturing relationships. It was about who do you know who can contact us to so and so, who can make this call for us on our behalf. It was reaching out on social media. We are all on social media. We have to be honest. How much time per day do you spend on social media? For us, social media has been a winning channel. We didn't know people in the world of environmental conservation. 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, our story is different. We are making calls to the topmost offices, and we get answers and we get listened to. We are not experts in this field. We have learned on the job to bring our expertise to the table. We work with experts, doctors and professors from Kenya Forest Service to KALRO to KEFRI. I mean, there are no limits to what you can and will become if you believe in your dream. You need to learn to choose your friends wisely. You need to match your energies. You need to learn to delegate. Personally, I am good in coordination, but somebody else is good in social media or communication. I will not be found suffering to do social media work. Why? Because somebody else will do that work much better than I. So that is what we've leveraged on, the strength and power in each other. We wake up every morning asking, since we planted at Suswa Girls in 2021, did the trees grow? Can we show progress? We come back in, we find there's no progress, we take a back seat with that school. We come back in, we find a school 3 months later, 6 months later, they have improved. We find a group of youths that set up a tree nursery, like a group of youths we're working with in Huruma. Those ones, we continue journeying with them because they give us inspiration. It's not because of money. In fact, we don't have any global or international funders. It's 1, 2, 3 persons who continuously believe in our dream, who continuously see the passion and commit to our calling. There are times we've been challenged. We've gone to Mount Elgon. In Mount Elgon, they were speaking Luya. And fortunately or unfortunately, our host was from the community, but none of us, again, was from that community. So we had to work with a translator round the clock. Did we dance? Yes, we had the best dancing sessions with those kids. Because for us, it's not about I'm a Kikuyu and somebody else is a Luya. It's about a national project, turning our schools green, turning our country green. So when you go to Luya land, you identify with them. When you go to Narok and they want you dressed up in Masai attire, I drop my Kikuyu clothes, I drop my English clothes, and I become Masai. When you go to Kikuyu Nation and they want you to say aterere, yes, I finally got to learn how to speak my mother tongue, which I didn't know when growing up. I mean, I'm brought up in a cosmopolitan location, that's Nakuru town. Grew up in schools where language was only English and Kiswahili. We never spoke Kikuyu at home. But here I am. I'll construct sentences and convince a shosho. It's the best thing to do under the sun. So yes, we can all do it. There's nothing like, we have had the youngest kid at 3 years, and we've had a shosho at 8 years join us for tree planting. It's about the next generation. It's about hoping and praying that tomorrow, those heat waves we are nursing will not be as bad as they are right now. It's about, the president gave us that call for 15 billion trees. The president alone won't be able to do this. KFS alone will not be able to pull this. They may pull in the National Youth Service or maybe the GSU in the barracks and stuff like that, but no. They will not come to your plot to do the planting. They will not come to your church to do the planting. And for communities that live in the bushes like in Amboseli, it's a different story. So can we do this? Yes, we can. Can we teach other communities the power of change, the power of growth, the power of a different challenge? Yes, we can. And on that point, viewers, we are going to take a small commercial break. Have so much more for you. Let's listen in. See you there.
Kitu mazingira.
Mazingira.
Kila kitu mazingira.
Mazingira.
Kila kitu mazingira.
Mazingira. Mazingira. Mazingira.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewers. I will take you into the second round of what Kipepeo entails. Kipepeo has a good number of success stories. I mean, with schools having success rate, growth rate of nurtured trees up to 100% for some schools. Of course, we've had big challenges. I will start with the successes. Like I said, our numbers stand at 102,000, but there are schools we've planted up to 2,500 trees. Why? Because they show us they can do it. All Career Primary, Mudhurwa Primary, Ndururunu Primary. Yes, they have done a good job. We have been to locations across the country, from Kajiado to Mount Elgon, that's in Western Trans Nzoia County. We have been to Narok, to Nakuru, to Nyandarua. We are headed to Marsabit. We have been to Kajiado, all the way to the stretch of Amboseli, from Namanga, doing the stretch through Amboseli, all the way to Loitoktok. We have traversed Nairobi County, we have traversed Murang'a, we have traversed Nyandarua, yes, we have traversed Kiambu, and we keep going, and we are not going to get tired. By the way, you should join us for Marsabit. It's gonna be fun. 3 days on the road, 3 nights on the road. But I'll tell you something about our tree planting projects. When we went to Kajiado, number one, it was about a food drive. Reason being, yes, the schools reached out, the schools welcomed us, the community gave us all the support we needed when we were planning. But those people, when we did our pre-visits, were suffering from drought. Their animals were dying. Kids had fallen out of school because of lack of food. I mean, there was nothing even to feed animals that they live on. These are pastoralist communities. They live in manyatas. It was sad to go into the national park that just a year before was lush green, and then we find carcasses all over. And that's when we decided, before we bring in a tree planting, we are going to first fundraise for food and feed that community. So we got back to Nairobi, reached out to kin and friends and community, raised food, and went back there within the slot of a month. The interesting twist to this was this. When we got to the ground, we chose to have an immersion experience in the manyatas. On that particular night, they hosted us to a quarter cabbage, piece of cabbage that was cooked to serve 20 people. That piece of cabbage was bought for 80 shillings. So tell me, who amongst the 20 is going to eat the piece of cabbage? We were the guests, of course. Hospitality says guest gets the best. We were served all the meats. Then, as culture states, the men were served the ugali and soup. And all of us got a slice of the cabbage. But the shosho who cooked for us never got to serve herself. We watched as she went to bed empty. And that became our game changer. We had to adopt kitchen gardens. We had to have a conversation with the Manyata leader, the community people, and coming back to Nairobi, we reached out to other partners. That's how Helping Hands International came to the table, so that we are able to set up kitchen gardens. This means they will never lack their own tomatoes, they will never lack their own sukuma wiki and cabbage. They do them in sacks, that's vertical gardens. Somewhere where it's enclosed, of course, because they are herding nations, so that the animals do not get to feed on the plants. And we believe by the time we are visiting them again, end of this November, we will find a people who are able to feed themselves. I mean, this is 1 year later, and for the first time, they did not call us to go fundraise for food again. Instead, they're asking, can we add on more trees? Yes, we can, and yes, we will. That's our plan for next year. I will give you the story of why we started sanitary towels distribution. Our first project was at Bishop Ngoru Primary and Secondary School. That's in Sagana, Kirinyaga County. We had a very humbling experience. We divided the attendees. We had the parents with their guest speaker. We had the high schoolers with their guest speaker. and we had the primary school kids with their own guests. Then at the end of the day, we were distributing sanitary towels just as a gift. I mean, we just thought, why not? We're going to this school, it's a needy school, you can tell, what can we do for the kids? After distributing, this one young girl reached out to one of our teammates and she told us a story. By then, that was in 2021, she was in grade 6, but that girl had been on menstrual cycles and had never in her life used a sanitary towel. Think about it. Think about yourself as a woman, as a young girl, as a lady, that there's still in this day and age, 21st century, someone living without knowing that they do not have to feel ashamed because of their menses. We asked her how come, like we wanted to understand her story. And I can remember at some point I broke down because this was just too much for me. She said her mother left, they're born 3 kids, came to Nairobi to look for a living, has never returned home. So they stay with Shosho. Shosho is super elderly. So she's the elder kid. The small money they get, and this money is not Shosho going to work, it's the young girl who goes to work after school, after classes. That's after 4 p.m. She rushes to neighbors' houses to cook, to wash, to milk the cows, just for that small pay or the gift of food so that they have something for supper. So what does she do for sanitary towels? Shosho taught her to dig a hole, and for those 4 days she's on her menses, she sits on that hole from morning until evening. I still shiver at that thought. I still try to envision myself taking that position, sitting on a hole because we cannot afford to get sanitary towels or whatever other means we use to take care of our menses. That became a game changer for us. So we asked ourselves, how many more girls are suffering? How many more girls are missing school for lack of sanitary towels? And that's when our journey of supporting girls, making sure for every school that we go to, kids will never miss school again, started. I'll leave you with that thought for a minute, then I'll take you into another journey. Right now, growing up, I remember we would visit rivers and lakes. I mean, yeah, Shosho used to live in Gatondo. Rivers were clean. Clean enough that we would drink water straight from the river using the leaves of the ngwashe ondoma. But here we are. 20 years later, 30 years later, there is nothing. We don't want to even feed our animals from that water. Why? Because the water is contaminated. So, we are talking about youth empowerment, youth employment, jobs provision. Our rivers are dirty, our environment is dirty, our youths are idle. For every project that we plan, we always find an interesting group of young people. Auntie, tupatie kibarua. No, I will not give you kibarua. We are not even endowed enough to give you kibarua. But when I call on you to come and volunteer, no one wants to come and volunteer, but they want the good party. They want the sherehe, the school feeding that we give the kids on that day. They want a share of the crisps. They want a share of the soda. So the question is, how can you change the lives of these young people that we meet on the streets, that we meet in the villages, that we meet on the roads? You and I have a conversation to take, because this is how we are going to do it. We are going to empower our people. We are going to empower our young people. We are going to empower our shoshos who come begging for food. We are going to teach them how to set up nurseries, how to package, to do value addition on the fruits they plant. If they're planting herbal trees, how to package these trees, the returns that they harvest, how to connect them to export markets. Because we can. We have the power, we have the knowledge, we have the information. Let's do this. I believe we can. My team believes we can. And together we can do much more than you can ever imagine. Go to Huruma, there's Ghetto Farmers. You need to visit them. Ghetto Farmers is a group of young people. Actually, all of them are reformed young people, gangsters. They would carry guns. But right now, they have a whole ecosystem running. Goat keeping, pig keeping, chicken keeping, kitchen garden running. They sell lettuce and cabbages and sukuma wiki and managu. Their lives are changed. They are no longer on the streets. You want a dog, German Shepherds and the lot, they sell them. These are young people that if we call, they turn up. But it has been a patient journey, painful, sometimes very frustrating journey of telling them we can change our lives and become a different story. Right now, they are a winning nation. They have the biggest bamboo farm, Nairobi and its environment. You need to see what they're doing. So, these are our winning stories. Looking forward, I know somebody will ask, where did we start from? We started with volunteering ourselves for the tree planting journey. We started by saying, you have 100 bob. During the dry season, that's about 8 trees bought at Kenya Forest Service. During a rush season, like right now, a seedling can go up to 50 shillings. So we would volunteer. We planted birthday trees. We planted trees like myself. My dad rested in 2020, God rest his soul. We planted trees for his memorial. It was just one step at a time. It was the will to learn, to grow, to become. We have always had an open door policy for Kipepeo. Young people, you feel you want to volunteer, reach out to us on social media. There will always be an opportunity. People outside there are looking for mentees, but you need to package yourself and endear yourself to them. You need to show what you're bringing to the table. You need to show your commitment. You need to go to a point where you're not saying, nipe kidogo, nichangie, but showing this is how much we've done, this is where our vision is taking us, this is what we look forward to achieving. You can do the same. If we did it, you too can. At some point, there are people who will not believe in you. My own mother didn't believe in the calling. My own siblings, me being a firstborn in a family of 3 girls, they started believing in my dream the other day. I have friends who say this was the biggest mistake ever. I mean, from the UN straight to starting an NGO on your own. It's not easy fits. There's no pay. There's not even an office. We actually operated virtual for the longest time. I had to call my sibs and my mom back, and we had a conversation about the land Mzee left, and we were given permission to use just a small bit of it to set our nurseries. So where there is a will, God always provides a way. And it's not about you. It's not about, forget a competition. It's not a competition. It's your own journey. It's your own run. Don't look at other big organizations and you feel intimidated when you see them on screen. Do your small bit. It's about your story, you becoming, and what you want to look back at 10 years to come. What's your legacy? Right now, when you go to those schools and those kids will be like, Teacher Wanjiku, Teacher Grace, Teacher Jane. Those smiles, for me, that's everything. That's the best payment I can ever receive. When you go to Mudhurwa Primary and the banana forestation, kids are being fed by bananas we planted. When you go to Bishop Ngoru and the fruit farm is functioning, they're eating avocados from the trees we planted. I mean, what other payment do you want beyond that? Satisfaction comes from seeing the outcome of your work. And yes, it's very satisfying. You go to bed happy saying, we did 1, 2, 3, we pushed ourselves, we are here. We are going to Marsabit in December. Dry location, yes. We've never been there. Yeah. We are told the school is in a dilapidated position. Fair enough. But are there kids who school there? Yes. Is there a community around there? Yes. We are going to journey the journey with them until that school too becomes another story like Mudhurwa Primary. You can start in a school in an environment like Mudhurwa Primary. Their field was a dump site. We went in, we worked together with the kids. We cleaned the locations where the Ndizi garden is, where the fruit garden is, where the kitchen garden is. And right now, everybody wants to identify with it. Why? Because somebody took the initiative. So you can start small. You can start with your kitchen garden. You can start with planting 2 fruit trees in your compound. Get an avocado, get a pawpaw, or just do passion fruit. I mean, it's a runner. It just grows on your wall. We can do this together. It's not too late. And when we finish, I don't believe we'll finish, but when we get done with covering our nation, we will continue now traversing to other nations. Somalia, Tanzania, South Sudan, I mean, they're also suffering the impact of climate change. Take the time to educate yourself. We've had sleepless nights with my team, sitting, taking online courses, attending classes and seminars, paying for trainings so that we understand 1, 2, 3, lazima ujitume. Don't expect otherwise. It has to come from here, and money follows. Don't let anyone fool you. When you wake up in the morning and run into tree planting, you're going to do, hooray! No, you're going to sweat for it. You're going to wear your gumboots. You're going to get very dirty and dusty. There are times you're coming from the field and I'm looking at my head and I'm thinking, oh God, I can't even take another photo. But at the end of the day, that's my story. That's what Kipepe is about. This is me telling a story of one day, if you ask my mother, I was never the child who would touch soil. I was the girl always watching her movies, reading her novels. You can turn. Right now, I'd rather live in the bush. I'd rather live in the farm. I'd rather touch the soil and get my hands dirty, because I believe that is where the whole world comes from. That's where our lives depend on. We have to push ourselves. We have to make a commitment. We have to wake up and not wait for the savior mentality, wazungu watakuja watulete support. No, you start, mzungu follows. Trust you me, we are a testament of that. At first, I remember asking ourselves, how would we get to the European Union? How would we get funding from these embassies that have big money supporting climate change action? Right now, we don't look for them. They come to us and we continue working together. They come to us and they are a testimony of the passion, of the commitment. Sometimes we've had sittings where we want to cry, like on the D-Day of an event where somebody cancels out and says they were sponsoring trees and all of a sudden they're not coming with trees. What are we supposed to do? We've had sometimes to fall back into our own tree nursery. So you can imagine, you're going to Narok and you have to carry tree seedlings from Kiambu. Doesn't even make sense. The soil texture, the polarity and everything is not the same. But the moment we make a commitment, we come in and 100% we deliver. So as life goes on, you should also rise and be counted. It's your legacy you're writing. It's the story of your children and your lives. It's the story of your grandmother. You standing up one day and saying, Shosho is proud of me, I have done something right. It's the story of that Shosho Gogo at the Masai Manyata who sees you and says, if you didn't come, our story would have been different. It's the story of that youth in Huruma and Mathare cleaning the river, getting a pay, turning their environment clean, who now has a purpose and is no longer a risk to the community. It's a story of that young girl who will never miss sanitary towels or miss attending her classes just because menstruation to her is a challenge. It's the story of that mama who didn't know about table banking, who didn't know about kitchen gardens, who didn't know about the power of working together, they can set up a nursery and start living. They can set up a nursery and we will buy seedlings from them. It's the story of knowing I can call a lady in Kibra because they have a vertical garden that has the best lettuce you've taken, farmed within Nairobi, in the middle of the slums. It's giving power and purpose to our people. We can do this. You can join us anytime, feel free. Our numbers are there, email, social media, just follow us. Come in, we are Happy Nation. This is a different or very official person. Meet us on the ground. We dance, we eat, we celebrate, we move with the communities. We have taken 3 days to stay in a manyatta. We slept on a leather patchwork bed. I only saw that on newspapers and books. We got to experience. For us, culture immersion is everything because that way we are identifying with the people. We are trying to see where the challenge is beating them. It's about waking up at 5 in the morning because they have to take a 20-kilometer journey to go fetch water. When did you last fetch water and carry it on your back? 20 kilometers away. It's about looking at Gogo trying to milk a cow that has nothing, or a goat that is literally giving less than a liter of milk and making tea that will feed over 20 people. It's about coming to Mount Kenya and returning that mountain region, Aberdare region, the whole of Nyandarua to its pride. It's about making Kakamega Forest the best home for our animals. It's about making sure the elephants in Amboseli do not miss something to feed on. Not to forget Masai Mara. But yes, we can. You and I can. Mama, you can. Daddy too, you can. Wuka Shosho, yes, we can. And our kids in public and private schools, just reach out and tell us, we as a school want to do this. We sure will respond and will come to you. Otherwise, we will connect you to somebody else and somehow you will be a part of this journey. It's a journey of change. It's a journey of inspiration. Of course, sometimes it's a journey of tears, but the win is when the environment is green and when another life is changed, we have won. Yes, we can do this. I believe we can, and we will continue to do this. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for listening to us. Do not lose hope. And you young person, yeah, you can change your degree from whatever you did in campus and become something else because all of us in my team are a testimony to that. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep trusting in God because you can plant, the rains won't come. You need a miracle to grow those trees. Thank you to the organizations that reach out, give us drinking water, because we get to turn these drinking water bottles into holding water for drip irrigation. So yes, everybody has an assignment, has a purpose. That small plastic container that you think you want to throw, don't throw it. Put sand in it, plant dania, plant your onion, have something you can eat tomorrow. Put your garlic there, your ginger. Feed yourself. Then that way you learn to feed the nation. Because together we can do this. We love you. God bless. Thank you so much from Kipepeo Green Heritage. We've come to the end of our session today. See you around. Thank you.